really rock 'em.
This is Jackie, and I'm here with Sam Bush at day 4 of Bonnaroo. Are you staying nice and cool? You're in a white shirt. You're playing ahead.
I am. Of course, this is day 1 for me. So how you doing? Are you faring well in day 4?
I'm still here, so yes. Yes. Have you had a chance to catch any performances yet?
I have not, because we just got here. I've been fortunate to talk to nice folks, and so that's what we've been doing. But later on, of course, we'll be on the Bluegrass Situation stage, the Sam Bush Band, later playing in the Jam. So it's just such a great variety of music here. I mean, I love it.
You have a very busy afternoon planned. Today, this Bonnaroo is the 15th anniversary. What were you doing musically back in 2002?
2002. Well, I was trying to get booked here, I guess. I'm trying to think. I think my band played here the first time in '04 or '05, something like that. So I've been fortunate to be here a few times over the years. But it's interesting. I mean, you see how much of course, this was a huge festival to start with, but how organized it is. I mean, this is a massive undertaking. You gotta applaud them.
I'm sure it wasn't as organized as smoothly as things are back when it got started.
Yeah, it didn't seem quite as organized, but you learn as you go. But they had it down pretty quick.
Well, speaking of learning as you go, Storyman comes out June 24th. This is not your first rodeo. It's a learning process for you as well, but you're an expert by now. What's a song or two that best represents your current sound?
Well, one we'll play this afternoon is called "Play by Your Own Rules," which is kind of a positive statement. Our guitar player and I wrote it. Stephen Moja and I wrote it. There's one written. This is the first time I've co-written all the songs, and hence the title "Storyman," because they kind of started with ideas that I had, and then, of course, I got some great songwriting friends, and so funny how when you write with great writers, you get better, or you try to, and with Deborah Holland and I wrote a tune called "Everything Is Possible," which is a very, reggae kind of thought, there's even a tune. I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky originally. There's even a tune I co-wrote with my friend John Randall Stewart, and he showed up he showed up with that idea, which was. It was actually about my father's love of fiddle playing, so that's what that song is about. It's interesting. So they're all kind of little stories that I've been a part of.
Why was it important to collaborate so much on this album?
Because I'm not very good by myself, but what it is in the last 5 years, it got more interesting to me and more of a joyful experience to go through, co-writing with my friends, and so there's 11 songs on this CD. I've had about 20-something, songs to pick through, and so now I'm encouraged to keep the writing going and keep collaborating, because there's obviously in the art of collaboration, you certainly will write in ways that you wouldn't. So when I got, for instance, one of the songs, it was written with Guy Clark, and I think Guy is just on the ladder of songwriting, he's close to the top rung, and so you get to write with Guy. It's kind of like you got a musical big brother to tell you whether something's good or not.
So good teamwork, good collaboration. What are some messages that you hope fans take away from the new album?
Just in general, it's a pretty positive kind of. I mean, not every subject of every song can be positive, but they are. I mean, it's mostly positive in the main message. What I hope they can take away is that they haven't heard songs like that before. That's a good part.
Why was it important to make the album cohesive in an era where iTunes singles are pretty prevalent?
I think that's just where I come from. I mean, my wife and I were talking one day about, for instance, like she was a big fan of the James Gang. And she's going, man, if people didn't listen to the whole James Gang album, you would have never heard Joe Walsh play Bolero if you only listened to the singles. So obviously it's in digital domain as well. We're happy if people want to buy one song at a time. But for me, it is still about a body of work that goes together. And even the one that I made now close to 6 years ago called Circles Around Me, same way, because I had some of these songs back then that I was thinking about a total co-written album. And I don't know, at the time it wasn't so important. But this time it seemed to be something I wanted to go for. And because I still do, when I, as a listener, buy product by people I'm fans of, I I listen to the whole body. And I'm even one of those kind of fans that, it might not hit you the first time you listen to it. You might go, I don't know if I like that. And give it a few spins. There's a reason people sound different from CD to CD.
There's a lot to be said for that tangible music. You open it up, you read the lyrics, you look at the pictures, you take the album in as a whole, and I think that that's something that 2016 we don't see too much of, but I think that there really is a value in that.
Yeah, well, I still like going to the record stores, holding the product, seeing who played on it, and shoot, I miss album jackets when James Taylor's face was that big on the cover of JT. He looked good, but it's the bottom line is, whatever format we can get music to people, I want to be on it.
Excellent. So your first album, Late as Usual, came out in 1985. How has your sound, I'm not judging, how has your sound evolved since that first album?
Well, since the first album, it's at that time I was in the band Newgrass Revival, so I was one of the lead singers in the revival, and I didn't care if I sang or not on that first one. I think there's only 2 vocals on it. Over the years, really, our show is more of a vocal show than instrumental. So I guess in that way, I've concentrated a lot more on singing than in the last 30 years. And there's a certain point where you have to get serious about singing, and I guess I did at some point, as serious as I get.
Well, speaking of serious, you have Grammy Awards, you have Lifetime Achievement Awards, lots of different accolades. But in 2016, the music industry has changed. As it has evolved, continues to evolve. What does success look or feel like to you in this decade, in this era?
To me, success is being able to roll up and buy more than 1 pair of blue jeans at a time.
Nice.
Going in and buying 2 pair of blue jeans, that's successful. You know what? For me, I've never really thought necessarily about success or failures, but I think in one way I'm incredibly successful because I've always played exactly the kind of music I want to. And and with that, you got to take your lumps along the way, and some people might not like it, but if you're dedicated to presenting a certain sound, you'll stay with it. And so that's where I'm at.
Evolution and blue jeans. I think those are 2 really great benchmarks.
But yeah, because it is interesting, Alan Toussaint even wrote a great song. What is success? Well, success is kind of in the eye of the beholder, but for me to get to play on this show today in this venue, I feel pretty successful about that.
Well said. So what's up next for you after your sets today at Bonnaroo?
By golly, I get home and start packing up, and early tomorrow go to Colorado for the Telluride Bluegrass Festival, which I've been very fortunate. I think this is my 42nd one consecutive.
You are the king.
They say.
Well, stay tuned for much more from Sam Bush, and be sure to get Storyman on June 24th. This is Jackie. Thanks to In the Key of Change and Chorus.fm.